Hey everybody, welcome back to Battle Ready Inc. So BT6 release is just weeks away, less than a month, and you know what that means. We've got to go through all the motions like we normally do. We got to look at what's the best decks coming out, as well as we need to know what cards we need to get our hands on. We still got a few weeks that we have time that hopefully if we jump in early enough, if you haven't already, that you can still snag up some of these cards before the price starts to go ever higher. Usually I just do like a random assortment of cards, but this time around I want to do like things that are basically kind of already hard to get, that are decently priced, that could definitely become even more expensive if you don't get them now. Some of these cards have bottomed out already, but are already back on the rise again. So we'll just have to go over this list and just, pick and choose what you think you're going to need before BT6 drops, because I'm guaranteeing a lot of these cards, if they're not already high, are going to be even more outrageous once people see how good they are across the board in BT6. Also, don't forget our memory marker this month is Digimon. So if you're playing Red, Jessamon, or Three Musketeers, this would be a great memory marker for that. He's so cute. He's got the tail, he's got the little wing ears and the feet. We still haven't got the face painted on just yet, but definitely stay tuned. I'll have a painted one here before too long so you can see the full package of our memory marker for this month. Absolutely adorable, probably one of the best ones that we've had yet. He's got so much going on. I think he's just a really cool, unique piece, and that's going to be September's Patreon reward, so make sure you check that out. Alright, so I've already put out a video of all the new decks that are coming out in BT6, right? But to go along with these new powerhouses, we need some support for them. So first up on our list of cards you need to get, if you haven't already, is going to be the promo power-up pack Lobomon. I've talked about it numerous times, over and over. I've been harping on getting this card since it released back in BT4. I talked about it in BT5 a little bit, that you should go ahead and pick up some. About middle of BT5, they were going to start to drop at their probably lowest point. But once people started thinking about BT6, the card was going to start going up and up and up. Now, some people are very much, they play just in the moment, right? Whatever the current set is, all right, now I'm going to start looking at the current set. They don't look in advance to see what's coming over the horizon. Not everyone. Okay, some of us do, some of us don't. And the people that don't are really going to be hurting, because this blue deck that's coming with this thing is insanely powerful. It is a powerhouse, and those people that are going to be jumping on the bandwagon after it's established and once it's doing well, this card is going to be crazy hard to get. Most people aren't going to want to give away their copies because it's not something we can replace. It's not like I can just go buy more packs of BT4 and get my hands on one and just pull one and get lucky. These cards are limited, okay? We only got them in the power-ups packs. So until we find some new way to print all these cards from that power-up pack, these cards are going to just get more and more and more expensive, okay? And this deck is still performing well into BT7. So BT6, Classic Collection, and BT7, this deck is still doing great. So this card is just going to keep going up, okay? So get it now. Now, to go along with him, you're going to need your Ancient Garurumons here. So whether you want the regular art or the alt art, either way, this price is going to go up. Look, it's already starting to shoot up. This is still a secret rare. This thing tanked at like 20 bucks at one point. Whenever I picked up mine, right when BT4 released, nobody cared about the Ancients. They were terrible, okay? I wouldn't say they're terrible, but they were not very good, for sure. They needed those promos to be playable, and even then, they still didn't really hit meta. It wasn't until BT6 for Japan that people were like, oh, well, now we can actually use them in this whole turbo deck that they fit really well into. So Ancient Garurumon, you're gonna need a playset to go with your Lobomon. Same thing, okay? It's just gonna keep going up. That deck is just gonna be so popular. I mean, I don't even think y'all understand how popular for a long time that this Ancient Garurumon Bond's Gabumon deck is going to be. It's absurd. So these cards are going to just keep going up in price. My next card that I want to look at, though, is something a little less obvious. Okay, we've covered the two main ones I harp on for like 2 sets now. Now we're going to look at some other stuff. Mastamon. So yellow, again, is going through a whole new metamorphosis. Okay, literally, it's been at the top for so long, but every set, it just drastically changes to a whole new dynamic of a deck. This set is no different. Now, Mastamon was used in the previous iteration with Lord Nightmon, but now we're going to see Dynasmon, I can words, Dynasmon takes center stage for yellow, and it combos great with Mastamon. So, again, if you haven't got your copies, I mean, they're pretty cheap right now. If you want to play yellow, Mastamon, Dynasmon is going to be the premier way. Okay, it's going to be no more debating. You know, it's like Lord Nightmon, and then what's my other mega? Okay, do I want Slash Angemon? Do I want War Greymon? Do I want Mastamon? You know, I've got all these different options. No, it's if you're going to play Dynasmon, you need to play the Mastamon to go with him because they are meant to be played together. I'm telling you, they combo so perfectly. So for yellow, Mastamon is going to be a must-have pickup for sure. Also, you can Digivolve Mastamon essentially for 3 costs now because of one of the new inheritables. So look at Wizardmon in combination with Mastamon. Yeah. Next, we're going to jump back over into the promo section. So over here we have Augumon, and this is from like the very first power-up pack. It was actually available in 1.0 and 1.5 as the power-up pack. Power pack, box topper, kind of depend. It was a weird gray area of what these packs were called. But this one is the one that gives plus 2,000 DP, okay? If you haven't already picked it up for, like Greymon Tribal in BT5, for BT6, this goes great with the Bonds Augumon deck because it's doing these really, really nasty combos with Greymon. And the Greymon that we're looking at is actually this one as well, which is the next card on our list. So these two go great together. So this one's going to give 2,000 DP to this one. This puts him at 7,000 DP. Yes, you're going to swing into security with your level 4 Greymon with security attack +1 at 7,000 DP. You might be thinking, what are you talking about? This Digituber has lost his mind. Click off the video. This guy doesn't know what he's talking about. Trust me. Okay. Let's look at the meta. So we've got Augumon Bonds and we've got Gabumon Bonds. Look at those decks. They don't play any level 5s. All their level 4s and level 3s are chump change in the DP department. You can clear all of them super easy if you're sitting at 7,000 DP. Literally the only thing you have to worry about is about 8 cards in the deck that you can hit in security. That's it, okay? And at that point, even like your megas have to be scared. So like that's nothing. So being able to swing in with a level 4 with security attack +1 feels so good. You look at Musketeers, they're playing a pretty low count of just all these megas, right? If you look at security control, which is another huge one that's in the meta, what do you have to really worry about that you're going to hit in security that's going to be that terrifying? Defeat, you don't battle defeat, okay? They've got their new security Digimon who have pretty low DP. If you're sitting at 7,000 DP with this guy, you're clearing those, okay? So there's nothing for you to worry about really in security anymore besides option cards. And option cards are going to delete your crap no matter what it is. If it's, level 7 whatever super mega that you're going to swing into security with, the second you hit, whatever option card it is that deletes your butt, then oh well. I'd rather lose my level 4 Greymon than this level 7 tower that I spent like 3 turns evoing into for countless amounts of memory just to immediately lose on 1 or 2 security checks. Whereas this Greymon can do the same thing for practically nothing. 2 evo costs, 2 memories, all you have to put into this combo to make it just absolutely devastate. So this is more of a meta call, so I expect it to definitely be like picked up on. It might be a slower burn than some of these because you're going to have to wait until the Bonds Augumon players step up to play, and when they play, and then slowly people are going to catch on to this Greymon Augumon combo that it fits in the meta really, really well for BT6. Okay, so we've seen Hexablaumon do pretty well in our meta. Now, it was just kind of missing some things, right? There was a big debate on which secondary mega you wanted to use. A lot of people settled on Ulforce. If you watch my Hexablaumon deck profile, you can see that I had this like list. I don't even remember how long it was. 4, 5, 6 alternative megas that you could play in that deck. All that goes out the window. We now have a Zulongmon coming out, and that guy is boss. So to complement him, basically he just kind of fits right into the Hexablaumon deck as is. So getting your Hexablaumon core, that whole deck, if you haven't already, because you're like, oh, I don't want to jump on the hype train or whatever, going into BT7, it's going to be even better, okay? So if you already have it, awesome. If you don't, and you've been on the fence, you're like, I just don't think it's got the power, trust me, when a Zulongmon comes out, you're going to wish you had. And we'll just jump over here and just take a look at him right quick and why I say that. So when Digivolving, trash the bottom Digivolution card of all of your opponent's Digimon. Awesome. He's doing exactly what we were already doing, trashing Digivolution sources. Cool. Then, for each of your opponent's Digimon with no Digivolution cards, gain 1 memory. That's on Digivolve. So you've already been trashing Digivolution sources as you've been evoing using your Hexablaumon, like his evo chain, right? Your level 4 and your level 5. So you've got your opponent might have several things on field with no Digivolution cards. So you can make this evo cost nothing. Okay, literally, you can make it nothing. But even then, if you can just get it down to 3, perfect. You're like sitting right where you want to be with a memory fixer. You just need 2 things on your opponent's field to trigger that. Also, this is what's crazy. Your turn, for each of your opponent's Digimon with no Digivolution cards, this Digimon gains security attack +1. So not only can you evo him into him potentially for free, you can then swing with a 13,000 DP beat stick into security and clear. Do a full clear with this guy. And then drop a Blitz Omnimon right on top of him to boom, clear, and that's game. We have a new OTK, ladies and gentlemen, and it's called a Zulongmon. Now, yes, it requires your opponent to be, to play into it a little bit, but no contest. This is your new mega for Hexablaumon. So make sure you get your Hexablaumon core ASAP if you want to play that deck. All right, next up we got Craniumon. Yes, Craniumon making a comeback for black. He kind of actually fits in a couple different things. He even fits into Musketeers a little bit. Musketeers, they like to, they have these new level 5s, red and black, that become red and black. So 2 level 5s that are duo colors at the same time. So he's can Digivolve really easy in those Musketeer decks. And why he's so important is because of his your Digimon with blocker can't be deleted by your opponent's effects. Looking at the meta, he is 100% a meta call deck or a meta call card because 3 Musketeers, all their options, it's all about deleting. Okay, it's all about deleting. If you look at security control is filled with tons and tons of delete your opponent's stuff. They have Wyvern Burst that lowers the DP, but everything else in the deck is all about deleting your opponent's Digimon. So Craniumon is just a hard counter to that. Absolutely a kind of a good card that you should just kind of have on hand. He's pretty low in price now. Even the altar art, if you want to get your altar arts, these could totally go up when people see how important they are to have in these decks, just because it counters so hard. Even if you're just playing a pure black deck, Craniumon is going to be a really kind of a must-have. So just 3 Musketeers is going to be everywhere. Security control is going to be everywhere. Both of those decks are just in the top of S tier here. I mean, A tier, S tier, whatever you want to call it. I mean, it's like both of those decks are 2 of the 4 top decks, and both of them are just filled with delete options. That's how their whole premise works, is deleting your stuff. So Craniumon, just drop that bad boy on field, shut those decks off. They're gonna have a hard time dealing with Craniumon once it hits the field. Okay, so a really nice include, a nice pickup, just because a good tech option for the future. Okay, I don't see the price going too crazy on it, but it's still a good card you just want to have on hand to swap into your deck when you're like, man, I need something, just to counter tonight's tournament. It's going to be kind of, I know the players here, they play a lot of security control. I know a lot of people are planning to play Musketeers. At this particular venue, I'm going to put in a couple Craniumons, just to have on hand. Not necessarily to, like, make a bunch of money on, like some of these other cards, but still just a good tech option to have. Now, Zwart, you probably have already. Now, some people might have gotten rid of their Zwarts, okay? They might have just gotten rid of it because Lilith Loop wasn't doing it for them anymore, and they just got rid of them because of that, or it just wasn't fitting into whatever deck, and they might have tossed their Zwarts, okay? Just traded them away. I literally just traded 3 of mine away. But it's a really cool tech option, again, for these 3 Musketeers decks, okay? So you just go on top of this, or on top of your 3 Musketeers. Now, he works with Gundramon and Beelstarmon, so being able to return Beelstarmon to hand with his ability to hard play again to get her on play effect, really, really good. Also, just being able to bring out 2 level 5s. He works great with that because, like I was saying, there's those new duo color Digimon, those level 5s, and being able to bring those out to, again, Digivolve on top of with your Gundramon or your Magna Kidmon. Zwart works really, really nicely in that. So, good time to pick up some of these. The prices are still kind of iffy on some of these altar arts, but I definitely see the potential for this card to go back up in price. And again, kind of like Craniumon, it might not go like crazy high or fluctuate too much, but it's still just a good card that you want to couple at least 2 copies, in your binder or in your box of no trades, just to kind of have for a meta call. Next, we're taking it way back to 1.0, Millenniumon. Same thing with Zwart. This combos really nicely in Musketeers because it can go on black or purple, and that deck has 8 different megas that he can choose to go on top of, which is really, really powerful just to have that kind of that level of consistency. And those decks are all about bringing those guys out really, really easily. So he just fits really nicely in the deck. Also, he's a good counter to a lot of this stuff that we're having here. So all these cards that are hard to delete, he's just like, okay, we'll just put it to the bottom of the deck. So like stuff like Craniumon. He counters Craniumon, which we saw in the Japanese format. Craniumon became a popular tech. And then because of that, Millenniumon became a popular tech to counter the tech. Now, we might have to go through some iterations to get to that point, the same as JP did. But it's a good idea to at least get some copies on hand. This guy's like at an all-time low. Nobody is running Millenniumon anymore because most decks all switched to Zwart. Everything that Millenniumon played in, Zwart plays in the same exact thing, black and purple, okay? But Millenniumon is still just really great removal. Like I was saying, though, Millenniumon has some issues getting over, or not Millenniumon, Musketeers have an issue with sometimes getting over really powerful things. Sure, they can pop megas, but when it comes to level 7s, sometimes they have some trouble removing level 7s off the field. So that's when Millenniumon comes in great for those decks. So 2 copies of Millenniumon just to have on hand, I think is a pretty good idea if you're going to be playing Musketeers. So most of the cards on this list were all like super rares, okay? Like I said in the beginning, I was trying to stay away from picking cards that were just common, okay? If you ever decided you need it, you could just go ahead and grab it. Not a big deal. What you weren't going to like be screwed because you didn't get it early on before the set released, right? But with this video, I wanted to kind of really hone in on cards that I thought could go up in price, a significant price if you didn't get your hands on them. Cards that were already kind of expensive, that you didn't necessarily really want to invest in as is, and you really needed a good excuse to invest in them. That's the kind of cards I was looking at this for this video. The cards that you might not want to get normally, but now after seeing this, you're like, okay, maybe I should actually get that. Next is Nailbone, which is an awkward thing. It's kind of in this weird flex area. Because it's in a starter deck that is stupid to get. I mean, most places, the prices on them are like 20 bucks for a starter deck when you can buy them at the store for like 10 or 11. And then Nailbone is just one of those cards that's in there. It's also one of the cards that's only 2 copies in a starter deck. So potentially Nailbone can be difficult to get your hands on. Most people, when they buy 2 starter decks, it's to get 4 copies of Nailbone. And they're not going to want to give those up, okay? Most people are, when they're buying singles, it's kind of hard to get cards like this because no one wants to give up their copies because they're not going to have extras of Nailbone. I can promise you that no one, just a regular player, will have extra copies of Nailbone because it's impossible to pull multiple copies unless they're literally buying starter decks just for booster packs like a freaking madman. 10 bucks for a single starter or for a single booster pack is absurd, and I hope you're not succumbing to have to do that. But yeah, so Nailbone is just one of those cards you should definitely get because, again, it's a 7 cost option that works really nicely in Musketeers, okay? It's perfect for that deck, honestly. It's absolutely perfect for Musketeers. Just being able to play it for free, like off of BL Starmon over and over and over and over, is absurd. So just go ahead and pick up your copies of Nailbones, especially if they are on TCG Player and you can find copies for this cheap. And you can't find this starter deck anywhere. I know these Digimons are pretty sought after. Look, literally 0 prices because there's none available. Ouch, that's brutal. Nailbone, though, will be like that, okay? It's not that it's necessarily an expensive card. It's just going to be a card that's going to be hard to find because no one's going to give up their copies because no one has extras. And that's going to do it for this video. I hope it was informative. I hope it was helpful. I hope it helped you make like some good informed decisions on buying some cards. Again, it's not necessarily, they're not going to skyrocket, but they might just be hard to get, or they're just good to have on hand. Now, some of them are definitely going to go up. Just all across the board, I wanted to give a nice selection of different things to choose from that hopefully will be helpful and hopefully you can get your hands on before they're gone. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you would, please like the video and subscribe. Just a little bit of help goes a super long ways. It helps the channel out tremendously, gets my videos out there, gets them seen. And if you really, really want to support the channel, check out the links in the description below. I'll have a link for my Patreon, which is displayed right here. You can get access to my Discord server that I have, as well as you can get the memory markers that we've had. These are just a few of my favorites from the past that we've had. The current one, Impmon's baby, as well as Gabumon's baby as well, Sunomon and Yaomon. These guys are super adorable. I definitely love them so much. And every month a new one changes out, so make sure you check that out. As well as we have our new playmats. This is why I recreated this video. It's because our playmats are here finally, and they are super cool. I alternate between the black and white every single month for whoever wants to support this tier, as well as I have a tier just higher than that, so that way you don't also have to lose out on a memory marker. You can get both the memory marker and the playmat just in case you want both. Super awesome support from everyone that has supported in the past and who will support in the future. You guys are awesome. Also, if you want to check out my merch, my Teespring link is in the description below for that. We've got, you know, the shirts that I wear on the channel that has the logo across. I love when I see people representing my merch in public. It is like one of the coolest feelings I've ever had in my entire life. Very, very awesome. As well as phone cases for you people that love Digimon like so much like I do. A friend of mine custom made all these to fit these specific phone cases themselves. So the prices are a little bit higher just because I have to pay her back, as well as make a little tiny bit of profit because of how much, unfortunately, they take for their cut for Teespring. But like I said, if you can't do any of that, please just like the video and subscribe to the channel. Every time we hit a new mile marker for subscriptions, I give out free merch of all different types. 2000K, I think we're doing one of the playmat giveaways. So definitely be subscribed and ready for when that comes.